Okay, do we have everyone back in? Is anybody there? Can anybody hear me?
Back.
Yes,
I
I'm
can hear
here.
you. I'm here.
Hey, hello.
Hooray!
Our Asian colleagues, do we have someone, do we have anyone back on the other side?
Just have to wave.
I'm
Stick a
here.
thumb.
I don't know
Yeah.
others.
Excellent.
Jump. Oh,
Okay.
there's one.
Okay.
It's the man in black again.
I'm going to continue, and we'll pick up our colleagues as we go. This part of the presentation is regarding the maintenance of air scrubbers, Polo, Porcus, and Compo. This presentation is the instruction of is the instruction on the commissioning and maintenance of Polo, Porcus, and Compo air scrubber systems produced for Big Dutchman. The content will cover commissioning, user level maintenance, technician level maintenance, and some troubleshooting if we have time at the end. Commissioning. The aim of commissioning is to test and adjust the installation, to set up and start use, to train the user, and to hand over the finished product to the client. For commissioning, we use a site acceptance test, or a SAT. The SAT form is available to you in the dealer package as the Big Dutchman version. This document will guide your techs step by step through the commissioning and serve as a record of the tests and their completed values. Firstly, we'll check for cleanliness. The system needs to be presentable, so remove all waste from the site. We need to check the filter pot, the process water areas, the technical room. We need to check the control panel is clean and sealed, and the pressure room. At that point, we're ready to start the commissioning. Is there lighting present? It's good to know if the client has lighting. It is better to have it separate from the installation in case of power isolation or failure. There should be ventilation present in the technical room. This can be either passive or active, but it must be recorded on the form. Check the connections. We want to check the water in. Is it up to the right pressure? Is it up to the right flow? The wastewater out. Make sure it's not leaking. The pressure differential hoses, are they all supplied and connected to the right places? The pH sensors, install them in place, and are taps open and closed as they should be. The float switches, are they installed? Are they connected correctly? Are they working? Are they at the correct heights? And are they the right way up? For the filter housing, close the top and bottom purge taps, remove the lid, the 6 screw knobs, fill with water to the incoming pipe, and refit the lid. This must be done before starting the air scrubber. The filter will remain full when the pump is stopped. However, if the filter has been emptied, this can be unintentional, the filter must be refilled before restarting the pump. The chemical supply, the first thing is to check the emergency shower functions. Yes, turn it on. It's a simple but very important check. Check the content of the safety cupboard. Is all the gear still there? Install the acid injector in the pressure line. Refer to the Chemical Dosing Systems Manual for more information. The injector looks kind of like this. It's connected with the different parts, screwed into the saddle, and then finally the protective sleeve is slid over and screwed in place. Pump water through the injector system to test for leaks and that it works. Water is thinner than acid and safe to handle. This means it will expose any leaks, and if there are any leaks, it won't be dangerous to handle them. Connect the chemical supply and dose the system automatically at the end of the test to check the pH auto adjustment. Check the pump stops and alarms when running too long. See the settings. Electrical checks. You need to check the electrical breakers are set to the right level, that your 24 volt, 220 volt, 400 volt, 100 volt, or whatever voltages you are using are correct, and that any connections to the slaves are also correct. Is the green light on your PLC logger? On the front side, there is a green light. Record the MAC address, and after testing, remove and read the SD card to ensure that data has been logged. If you're connecting through the internet, remotely connect through the website to ensure that all the information is being logged as required. Are there any questions so far? No, jolly good. Start up. Clear the air scrubber of all materials and staff. Set the air scrubber to on. The air scrubber will now self-test, fill, and start. The first check is to check the direction of rotation of the pump. This needs to be clockwise. Close all flushing taps at the end of the sprinkler lines. This will ensure that pressure builds up and the sprinklers function correctly. Check the pressure on the main sprinkler lines. Must be 0.5 bar. Adjust the stopper on the BLEMO valve to adjust the pressure. Use the stopper to prevent the valve from opening all the way or reduce the pressure. You'll then need to test the amperage of each phase of the pump. Initiating a drain cycle and monitoring the flow is the next step. Adjust the main valve stopper to allow the valve to close a certain distance and build up back pressure. Record the flow. Presentation is actually correct. This flow is optimal at 10 meters cubed per hour. Calibrate the pH sensors. You require pH fluid at 3.07 pH and 7 pH. Access the pH settings in the UMO EcoTrans pH3 controller and run the 2-point calibration process. The 2-point calibration process. This will involve placing the pH electrodes in the 2 fluids provided. Confirm the conductivity sensor. Place the conductivity sensor in a 140 millisiemens test fluid and confirm the reading. Do not lose the rubber that comes with the sensor. Calibrating the flow meter. With the system running correctly, press and hold button S2 until the display flashes. This will tell the sensor it is now at 100%. Set point 1 to value 4 and set point 2 to value 7. This can be done by pressing button S1 and then using the 2 buttons as left and right, waiting for it to set, and then repeating with button S2. Take care not to cross the 2 set points, and this is not required on DLG flow meters fitted in Germany. Are there any questions so far? Okay.
Hello.
Moving.
Regarding of the calibration, how long need to calibrate again?
Okay, pH sensors are, I will cover this in the servicing in a few slides. pH sensors have a useful life of 12 months.
12 months.
They need to be calibrated when installed, and they need to be recalibrated at 6 months to make sure that they are still working correctly.
So how the customer calibrate? They need to send for they self-calibrate?
It is better that a technician calibrates the sensor.
Okay.
I will cover this in a few slides' time.
Okay.
Servicing. User maintenance. Weekly user maintenance includes cleaning the pH sensors, close the supply tap, remove the pH sensor, clean it gently, and once reinstalled, open the tap until the flow is enough. This can be seen in a sight glass just in the left of the picture. Once the pipe is running full, that is sufficient flow. It doesn't need to be any more than that. Opening the sensor tap too far will damage the sensors over time, and they will not last the 12 months that we allow for them. Repeat this cleaning with the conductivity sensor. In the same way, close the tap, remove, clean, reinstall, and open the tap. Cleaning the filter is also a weekly user maintenance task. Turn off the air scrubber and wait for the pumps to stop. Remove the filter, clean, fill with clean water, reinstall and seal, closing the taps too, and turn the air scrubber back on. Housekeeping. Cleaning of the tech room will make sure that you find any issues early. It will prevent corrosion and failures. Yearly maintenance. Cleaning of the filter package will be required at least yearly. However, using the wash hose to rinse the package through, this may be required more often if the pressure difference over the package rises faster. As I mentioned before, this should take about 45 seconds to a minute per meter square. Any questions on user maintenance, sensors, filter cleaning, package cleaning? Dealer maintenance. The first thing that we'll cover in dealer maintenance is that you'll need to clear any alarms, get the system running as it should. Record the client's details. We'll need to record the system, the serial number, the amperage draw across the pump across each phase of the pump when the system is running, the pressure on the sprinkler line, and the kilowatt hours used. In the control panel, we want to make sure the control panel itself is secure, any electrical connections in the control panel are secure, and that the kilowatt hour meter is actually running and recording. Clean the filter, as mentioned in the user maintenance. And for the pH sensors, we will replace and calibrate the pH sensors at 12 months. We will recalibrate every 6 months. Clean the EC sensor. It's also a good idea to retest with your 140 millisiemens test fluid to ensure that it is still working as intended. Remove, clean, and refit and test the floats, the level floats. For each level float, there will be a different operation. For the chemical system, set the chemical pump on. Does the pH react within a few seconds? And then switch the chemical pump back to automatic. As a note, don't have the pump on manually more than 20 seconds. The reaction should be within less than a minute. For the anti-foam pump, set the anti-foam pump on and watch the input hose to see that it is actually pumping the anti-foam fluid in. Set the pump back to automatic. This pump should react instantaneously. Sprinklers, check all of the sprinklers spray clearly and that the package is evenly wet with no dry spots. You should check the package both from above and below. For the data logging, access the data either online or by reading the data that is on the SD card. Has the machine been running smoothly? Has there been any downtime? Have there been any issues? You may notice that the conductivity has been rising and suddenly falling, rising and suddenly falling. This is correct. However, if it's suddenly the same for 2 weeks, or it has been the same for 3 weeks' time, then there is an issue. It's not recording correctly, or the conductivity isn't rising as it should. Gas testing. Measure before and after the air scrubber for NH3 or ammonia. Comparing the readings to see the air scrubber works. Comparing these two readings will tell you the percentage of effectiveness of the air scrubber and how well it is working. Are there any questions on the maintenance? Okay then. Also provided in the dealer package, we have a service manual that includes a section on troubleshooting. Each of the alarms on the front of the control panel is linked to a numbered sticker, and each of the alarms will have a reason and a solution. I'm just going to quickly go through those. For the runtime exceeded pump, the acid pump has been on for too long without interruption, without the pH reaching the pH setting. Possible causes are that the sulfuric acid container or the lye container is empty. There is air in the acid line. The valve of the bypass is closed, because of which the cleaning water cannot get to the pH sensors. This is the tap before the pH sensor block. The acid pump is broken, or there is a problem with the pH sensors. For each of those possible causes, have the consequences and the required actions. Check the acid container, replace if necessary. Vent the line. For venting the acid system, see the chemical dosing handbook. The manual valve in the bypass, make sure that it's at least 10% open, with the transparent tube must be filled with water. This is to say that you have sufficient water over the pH sensors. If the problem is still not solved, please contact the dealer. That will be yourselves. And if you can't solve the problem, then contact me. Acid leakage detection at the pump. Liquid has been found in the drip tray under the acid pump. Possible connections are that the tube connections are not correct, the acid hose has disconnected or released, the pump is defective or leaking, the pump head is leaking, or the sensor detection is defective. In any case, clean the drip tray. Take care that you are wearing the correct protective equipment and you have the correct emergency supplies on hand. Have the tube connections repaired or replaced by the dealer. And if the pump is defective, consult the dealer. That is yourselves. Emergency float is in. The reservoir level has become too high. This means that there is a large supply of external water or rainwater or melted water from snow, perhaps cleaning water if you've had a separate supply in to clean the packages. Perhaps the water supply valve is defective and leaking, it stays open. The water level float itself is defective, or the emergency float is dirty or polluted. The system does not take any more water. So once the emergency float is in, the emergency valve will close and will prevent any more fresh water from being supplied. The circulation pumps will normally continue to function. Check the main valve and the water supply system. Clean the emergency float. If external water has entered the reservoir must be partially drained. If the problem cannot be solved, or if the problem keeps reoccurring, please contact the dealer. Minimum level and pump stop. There is too little water in the reservoir, insufficient water supply flow during filling. Possible causes are the water supply filter is clogged. One or both of the valves are closed. Perhaps there is insufficient capacity of water in the supply system. The water supply valves are defective. Too much water evaporation or loss, yet insufficient water is supplied to the system. There could be a large leak in the system. Perhaps the container is damaged in some way. Check the main valves and the water supply system. If there is a problem, consult the dealer. And of course, check for any external leaks. Pump's thermal. The circulation pump is overloaded and was switched off thermally. This means the motor protection switch in the control cabinet has switched off. This could be due to the pumps being damaged or seized. It could be that the motor switch is defective or configured incorrectly. We have here in the manual, consult the dealer. That is to say, consult an electrician who can give you a correct assessment of what's wrong there. Dry running circulation pump. If the circulation pump delivers too little flow, is therefore detected. On the flow sensor, the two LEDs have turned red, and the left LED exactly indicates the dry running. This could be caused by the reservoir being empty, the processed water being empty. It could be due to the filter for the circulation pump being blocked, or it could be due to the sprinklers being blocked. It could also be that the sensor on the back of the pin on the back of the sensor has developed a film on it. So as a technician level, we could have that cleaned. Otherwise, as a user level, check the water level and the inlet valve, the manual valve. Check the pump filter. Check the sprinklers are not blocked, and check the filter packaging is not blocked. This will also be available in print in the unit when it's supplied. So if there are any questions on that, I'll take those now.